This is the last of the module STCW Basic Safety Training FPFF course, Fire Prevention and Fire Fighting. Okay. So this is module 3. We have been talking about module 3 on board firefighting, organization and the team. So this is chapter 2, mustering to fight fire on board the ship. Before we begin the training course, you must know who is the instructor. I am Sanjeev Mehta. Welcome aboard, and I will be your instructor for this module on fire prevention and firefighting. With over 2 decades at sea and in training academies, training room, ship management companies, the training head of the training department, I believe learning should be just as engaging as it is essential. This course is designed not just to inform you, but to prepare you to act, think, and respond when it matters the most. Fire can happen anytime, anyway, especially at sea is very, very dangerous if it occurs. It overwhelms the crew. So let's begin this voyage by understanding the fundamental that could save lives. So pay attention. Thank you. Mustering to fight fire on board the ship. What to do once it is known the fire has occurred? Fighting the fire on a passenger ship and a cargo ship may be somewhat different because in the passenger ship there are large number of people who are sailing for leisure and they are not trained and they have to be protected. So the crew has to fight the fire. So on the passenger ships, they don't need to create panic amongst the passengers if fire has occurred. Of course, passengers would need to be informed if evacuation from a specific part of the ship is required, or in extreme cases, if abandoning the ship becomes necessary. But if just because a fire has occurred and the crew has not yet ascertained the extent of the fire, there is no need to create a panic. Alright, so golden rule is be economical with the truth. Never lie, because once the people have come to know that they were given the wrong information, the trust will go. So they must trust the ship's officers, that is the passengers. So golden rule is be economical with the truth but never lie. Mustering to fight the fire. Avoid creating unnecessary panic on passenger ships. Like in many hospitals, announcements are made like code blue, code red, which necessitate necessary action by the hospital staff. So they know what is the meaning of code blue. Let's say cardiac, that means maybe a cardiac emergency. So all the staff which is related to the cardio department of cardiac surgery or cardiology, they will proceed to the respective station, respective you can say stations or the ICU or the surgery room, whatever. But passenger ship often announces coded message like coded blue. So that means deck people will go or the engine people will go or where the fire might be. All this thing is decided by the company safety management system. The crew part of the firefighting team understand what is the meaning of code blue. If let's say given a code red or code orange, like it may be, or it can be the extent of fire. So it's not very huge fire, it's a small fire. So code orange maybe, or something like that. Like it may be fire on the lower deck A or something similar. And they proceed to their muster stations without creating panic reaction among the large number of passengers on board. Or the selected number of people in the, let's say, galley department will come, depending on the what code was announced. Not all the galley people will go, because galley people are basically mostly they are the support staff. On a cargo ship, there is no such risk or such kind of panic situation, and once announced that fire has occurred, crew proceed to muster station, usually emergency headquarters, Everybody has this duty to perform as per the muster list. Muster list has duty of each and every member of the crew defined, and the crew is well aware of their duties. Sorry. Crew members will muster to fight the fire after one or more of the crew members have noticed a fire and an alarm has been raised manually. Depend either fire was found out by the fire detectors system which is fitted, or by a person crew member had noticed the fire and he has informed the bridge and fire alarm has been raised, or he had manually raised the fire alarm. So if a fire alarm was sounded, bridge team duly confirmed occurrences of the fire and raised an alarm for all to muster. Either way, how does the ship's crew know that the alarm raised is an alarm informing that a fire has occurred on board a ship? Because there are a couple of different types of alarms fitted on the ship. So every person on the ship, that means a crew member, must know what alarm will be raised specifically for the fire. All hands, of course, must proceed to the muster station, muster point, and do all what is necessary to locate, contain, and fight the fire as necessary. The first point is the alarm which is raised, crew has to be aware of that this is a fire alarm. All right. So normally there are two types of alarms which are fitted in emergencies, which are for emergencies. So most ships will have their safety management system, which will specify what are those alarms for emergency. Generally speaking, alarms for local emergency and there is alarm for general emergency. So alarm for local emergency is different, alarm for general emergency is different. Crew is well aware of these alarms and they must be very thoroughly familiar. The moment alarm sounds, they must know whether it's a local emergency or it's a general emergency. Quickly they should proceed to their stations accordingly, depending on the local emergency or general emergency. What is a local emergency? Local emergency defined as an emergency which has developed on the ship, which is of a localized nature, as the name implies. Like man overboard, fire. Fire, if occurs, initially it will be localized. It's not that whole ship will catch fire, one fire in the forward part will start, fire in the aft part will start, port side, starboard side, top deck, bottom deck, middle deck, deck A, deck B. Not possible, no? So it's a localized fire. That's why we call it local emergency. So alarm for this type of emergency is continuous ringing of ship's emergency bell followed by 4 long blasts on the ship bell and the ship whistle. All right. So what is a local emergency? A localized emergency, like a person has fallen overboard and there is a fire, which will be a localized fire initially. So the alarm is continuous ringing of the ship's emergency bell followed by 4 long blasts on the ship's bell and the ship's whistle. This is the alarm for the fire also, because fire is also a localized emergency. Initially, yes. Later on, if the fire was not handled properly or ship's crew were not able to fight the fire, fire may grow big. So initially, it's a localized emergency. So there is the fire alarm also, informing the crew that a fire has occurred. All crew must proceed to their designated emergency stations. All right. There is another type of alarm which is raised in an emergency, which is called general emergency. This is a call for the ship's crew to muster and proceed for their respective board station. General emergency means there is emergency which is a danger to the ship. So for further instruction like abandon ship, possible, not always. When a general emergency occurs, not necessarily the ship will be abandoned, but there is a possibility. And if further instruction required, like abandoning ship, which if needed shall be given by the master, always given verbally. Normally it is said all hands on deck. Huh? Everybody for himself, abandon ship. Ship is no more under command. That kind of situation. This situation we hope it never occurs. Alarm for the general emergency is 7 short blasts on the ship's bell followed by a long blast on the ship's bell and the whistle. Remember the difference. Continuous ringing of the ship's bell followed by 4 short blasts is local emergency. 7 short blasts on the ship's bell followed by a long blast on the ship's bell and whistle is a general emergency. Understood the difference? So how the fire is detected? We'll learn that in another module how the fire is detected on board the ship. There are fire detectors, addressable fire detectors fitted. So, or fire may be detected by a crew member. The crew member must raise his voice and shout fire, fire, fire if immediately no local call button or local emergency push button is available. Intention is to draw attention of the other crew members who can hear him and press emergency call button wherever they are, and or inform bridge by whichever means possible. The fire which is detected may be a small fire. Initially, most fires are very small fires, or it can be a substantial fire if large amount of flammable material was available, and as we had seen the fire triangle, other two conditions were met, that is the source of the heat or ignition or spark, and of course air or oxygen. The fire is detected may be a small fire or a substantial fire with potential to grow big. Actually speaking, all fires have potential to grow big. If fire is small, crew member who had sighted the fire and raised the alarm must use the appropriate portable fire extinguisher and extinguish it. Confirm fire has been extinguished, no signs of its revival, then call bridge and inform that the fire has been extinguished. Yes, meanwhile, when the fire alarm was raised, other people will definitely proceed to the muster station. This action need to be taken at the earliest, usually by the person who discovered the fire at the first instance. If it is substantial fire, all efforts must be made to inform others as advised earlier, shouting fire, fire, fire. If find a nearby emergency call button, break the glass and press it. A trained crew member will quickly know the actions he may take. For example, removing flammable material if possible, cutting off ventilation, covering the fire with fire blankets if available, closing the fire doors to delay spread of fire. Remember, fire doubles in size every 20 to 30 seconds. So the quick action is very, very important. But quick and calm, not in a panic mode, not in a panic situation. Crew member must not put himself into danger because as we know, fire spreads quickly and may endanger life of the crew member. Collectively, the team stands a better chance of fighting and suppressing the fire instead of one single crew member. So when the local emergency alarm is raised, all crew members must reach the emergency station. If a crew member engaged in fighting the fire or extinguishing the fire, of course he will be delayed, but he should, depending on the fire, he may be isolate the fire, possibly close the door and quickly run to the emergency headquarters so that he can explain because he has sighted the fire. Or maybe fire was announced, detected by the fire detector, and that's why the fire alarm was raised. Then all members will proceed to the emergency headquarters because nobody knows where the fire is except the bridge team. What to do once every crew member has reached the emergency station? Crew members are assigned different duties. As suggested, Usual way the emergency duties are assigned in case of fire are: crews divided into support squad and attack team. Support squad duties are: close fire flaps, fire dampers, close the doors wherever the fire has occurred, lay down the fire hoses, rig additional hoses if required, or otherwise also to reach the place of fire, or more number of hoses might be required. Bring portable fire extinguishers. Start boundary cooling as directed. On instructions from the bridge, prepare lifeboats. Start emergency generator if necessary. Rig the gear for evacuation of person from the place of any casualty. So these are the duties of the support squad which will be performed as the situation develops and as the situation demands. And it will be directed by the on-scene commander or on the direction of the bridge. Attack squad: wear fireman suit, don breathing apparatus, report contents of the BS set to the bridge. All checks must be carried out on the BS set by the person wearing the BS set, no matter what is the emergency. Never hurry up. All these checks must be carried out. That is, check the air pressure, check the face shield or face mask, and whistle check that the face mask is not leaking, and the whistle check. When the oxygen level comes down, alarm should be given, or whistle must blow automatically, warning the person come out of the area wherever he is. Then only designated member of the attack squad will enter the space where the fire has occurred. Usually two firefighters go together with lifeline and helmet. Mounted torch is advisable. If the fire is in the accommodation or the cargo spaces, chief officer is the team leader of the attack squad. He will lead the team, and first is the team leader of the support squad. So the duty of the support squad will be taken up by the first engineer or second engineer, whatever they call him. And if the attack squad leader is the chief officer, he will attend to the containing the fire, extinguishing the fire. Chief officer, not necessarily chief officer will go and extinguish the fire. He may designate two members of his team who will don the BA set or fireman suit and go and fight the fire. If the fire is in the machinery spaces or the steering room, then the first engineer is the team leader of the attack squad and chief officer is the team leader of the support squad. So duty will reverse. Member of the attack squad must also be provided minimum of 2 intrinsically safe radio sets. The team member of the attack squad is decided on the basis of the crew member who has got the better knowledge of the area where the fire has occurred. Naturally, the engine room and steering room engineers are in a better position. They are well familiar with the team, with the area. That's why they will fight the fire. They will be in the attack squad. Also, if there is the pump room or the cargo space, chief officer is better aware or familiar with the area. All right. So this is the end of the module 3, chapter 2, mustering to fight the fire on board the ship. I have kept it very simple since this the course is for beginners, for person who are not yet joined the ship and worked on a ship. Is a basic safety training course. Every person desiring of working ashore, working at sea has to do this course. The only essential information is given. Course on firefighting. This a practical course has to be done. Practical part of the FPFF course has to be done, and there the your instructor will brief you about the different firefighters, fire extinguishing media and fire extinguishers available, portable and fixed. All right. So if you like the presentation and like to make a voluntary condition, you are welcome. Spread the word. Tell your company wherever you have done this course, your training academy, so that more and more people can get benefited. Thank you. Have a good day.